On Law Weekly today, the appeal court gets a boost as the president of the court commissions new divisions in Anambra and Delta states. Justice Bulkachuwa says the divisions would help address the existing traffic and congestion in the courts, as well as reduce the attendant cost of access to justice across the country. Also showing on the program, some lawyers speak about the rising cases of litigants, urging the Supreme Court to either review or reverse their judgments, especially in political cases. Plus our weekly recap of the top trending stories from the courts. Hello and welcome to Law Weekly. I'm Shola Shuyeli. 29 years after the state was created, Anambra State gets a court of appeal established in Awka, the state capital. The court is the 18th in the country and it's got all the stakeholders in the justice sector excited. We have details in this report.
This is what the latest division of the Court of Appeal looks like, located on a temporary site in the Court Road area of Awka, the state capital. The commissioning of this edifice has attracted quite a crowd, and as more people arrive to witness this historic event, traditional dancers entertain the guests. It is indeed historic because the state is getting a Court of Appeal division 29 years after its creation. The arrival of the state governor, Willie Obiano, kicks off the ceremony. The chief judge of the state recounts the stress that the people of the state have endured in the pursuit of justice. He is happy that the new division will ease the stress.
As we gather to witness the commissioning of the Court of Appeal, Awka Division, by the Honorable President of the Court of Appeal, by this action of today, Anambra State now hosts all levels of courts in Nigeria, except the Supreme Court, which has a fixed place of session in Abuja. The decision to commission a division of the Court of Appeal in Awka, Anambra State, is a welcome development that will bring relief to the teeming litigants in Anambra State and their learned counsel, who prior to this date traveled to Enugu to have their appeals heard. Going by statistics of cases and the guiding principle of bringing justice nearer to the people, I think I'm right to say that Anambra State deserves a division of the Court of Appeal. The Honorable President of the Court of Appeal has posted a panel of 3 distinguished noble lords of the Court of Appeal to kickstart the onerous task of disposing of judicial work in an Awka division. It is good for a start, but I know that based on the volume of cases waiting for attention of the Awka division, 2 panels of 5 justices are needed. This is in a way, a testimony of the hard work, commitment to duty, and dedication of the honorable judges of the High Court of Anambra State, who incidentally churn out judgments in high numbers, which inform the high volume of cases at the Court of Appeal.
The president of the Court of Appeal, Bulkachuwa, who described the commissioning as long overdue, is happy that the government supported the judiciary. She describes this as a milestone in the history of the court.
Current trends in the justice management system are focused on probity, accountability, ethics, and best practices of judicial officers on the one hand, and the quick dispensation of justice and bringing justice closer to the people on the other hand. The selection process for the appointment of judicial officers had been thorough, good, dedicated, honest, and prudent hands are brought into the judicial system with very few cases of malpractices reported. The quick dispensation of justice and bringing justice closer to the people has posed a great challenge to the court as well as the entire judiciary. For instance, the court has been growing the number of its divisions from 3 divisions at its inception in 1976 to 5 divisions in 1977, 10 divisions in 1999, and 16 divisions in 2011.
Governor Obiano promises to continue to support the judiciary. He also highlights some of his plans to improve the welfare of the judicial workers as well as aid quicker dispensation of justice.
Today, this great state finally stands on our own feet in the administration of justice after decades of relying on the Court of Appeal in Enugu for litigations beyond the jurisdiction of the High Courts. The importance of this day could easily be seen in the imperatives of justice to a society that desires growth, freedom, and democracy. Indeed, no progressive society can experience rapid growth without a stabilizing presence of a robust institution, of which the judiciary is one of them. Once again, I wish to reassure the honorable members of the judiciary in Anambra State that my administration is committed to strengthening the ties that bind the 3 organs of government, the state, together by paying attention to their needs and making necessary efforts to give everyone the sense of belonging. This moves becomes a development out of necessity and a symbol of goodwill to our lawyers and citizens questioning for justice. I am reliably informed that before now, there were only 16 courts of appeal in the country, but with the recent establishment of 4 new ones in Awka, Asaba, Kano, and Gombe, we now have 20.
The high point of the event is the commissioning of the court by Justice Bulkachuwa alongside the governor and other dignitaries in attendance, as well as the cutting of the cake.
Like Anambra State, Asaba in Delta State is also the recipient of a new division of the Court of Appeal. The state governor recalls that 50 to 60% of the recently decided election petition cases from the state went to the Court of Appeal in Benin. But with a new division now in the state, this issue will be a thing of the past.
Indeed, like the people of Anambra State, the people of Delta State will no longer have to go through difficulties in their pursuit of justice. The inauguration of the new division of the Court of Appeal in Asaba is witnessed by the governor of the state, Ifeanyi Okowa, other members of the executive, members of the bench and bar, traditional rulers, politicians, and some other citizens of the state. The chief judge says there has been several requests from the Nigerian Bar Association and the executive for the establishment of this division, and he is pleased that the Chief Justice of Nigeria gave his approval. Before now, cases from Delta State were determined by the Benin Division of the Court of Appeal. This meant that litigants and their counsel had to travel the distance to access justice. The president of the Court of Appeal moves around with the dignitaries present here to inaugurate the e-library, which is named in her honor. She also unveils the Statue of Justice and completes the process with the official commissioning of the court. Justice Bulkachuwa then speaks about some of the challenges and the many ways in which the new division of the court will aid the efficient administration and dispensation of justice.
In the judiciary, expansion, though the establishment of new divisions is an aspect of the judicial reform agenda, which is to enhance access to justice and speedy disposal of cases, as well as efficient administration of justice. The above principle is so fundamental to the extent that in times of severe austerity, when governments and businesses are known to close down some of its liaison offices and reduce its staff strength, the judiciary would still be expanding, even at such times. It is as a result of the foregoing reason that the Court of Appeal is seeking to increase the number of its divisions to reduce difficulties associated with long-distance travels to the court, cost of transportation, and delay due to congestions. 8 of the existing divisions are always busy, and Benin Division, which covers Edo and Delta State, is one of these busy divisions. Further divisions necessitated by numerous requests from the Delta State Nigerian Bar Association and the state government reveals that a large number of the appeal cases in Benin Division emanates from the Delta State. Hence the need to create a division of the Court of Appeal in Asaba, Delta State.
The dignitaries move into the court premises for an inaugural sitting of the court, which also coincides with a valedictory court session in honor of Justice Bulkachuwa, who is to retire from the bench in March.
Judge, Delta State, the administrator of the NGR.
On his part, the governor said the inauguration of the court remains a thing of joy, satisfaction and fulfillment, not only to the legal community but also to the people of the state.
The opening of this Court of Appeal, Asaba Division, and commissioning of this court complex is a thing of great joy and satisfaction, of resounding hope and fulfillment for the legal profession and for all Deltans. It has been a priority of this administration since 2015 to extend the frontiers of justice administration and bring it closer to the people for the purpose of fairness, equity, and timely service delivery. The opening of this court today further demonstrates a commitment to the rule of law and social justice.
To complement the commission of this and other divisions of the Court of Appeal, the NDA calls for the appointment of additional justices of the Court of Appeal. To pave way for these appointments, we call for a concomitant amendment of the provisions of the Court of Appeal Act to allow for the appointment of sufficient number of justices that will ensure that no division of the Court of Appeal will have less than 6 justices posted thereto, and particularly overworked. And the particularly overworked and overloaded divisions like Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt will have no less than 10 to 15 justices. In the recent postings of my laws, justices of the Court of Appeal, we have been privileged to see, a number of the divisions only have 3 justices posted there, which means, amongst others, that A, such divisions do not have the quorum of 5 justices for the constitution of the full court for the hearing of any matter that can only be heard by a full court in the terms of relevant constitutional provisions. B, such divisions will not form the 3 justices quorum for the hearing of ordinary matters if 1 or 2 justices are indisposed or unavailable for whatever reason on any day for the court sitting.
The Court of Appeal is the second highest court in the country after the Supreme Court. It hears appeals from the Federal High Courts, the State High Courts, the Sharia Court of Appeal of the states and the FCT, and competent tribunals like the Code of Conduct Tribunal and election tribunals, which have been established by an act of the National Assembly. The presence of the divisions of the courts in Anambra and Delta states will no doubt bring justice closer to the people. With the recent establishment of divisions in Awka, Asaba, Kano and Gombe, the Court of Appeal now has 20 divisions in the country.